Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with Inside the U. The 18th ranked Miami Hurricanes improved to 7-2 on the season, 3-2 in the ACC, with a 38-10 win over Syracuse. There's some things I want to discuss in this one, and thanks for stopping by. But I don't want to overdo this game in the sense that Syracuse was really struggling. This is a team Miami is supposed to beat, and they certainly did. And look, it was 14-0 at halftime, but a big turnover there at the end, forcing that fumble. Shout out to Hakeem Mesidor, forcing the fumble, 3.5 tackles for loss in this game. He was great. And, recovering that fumble by Jacoby, that kept it at 14-0 going into halftime. And then Miami did great there in the third quarter, kept the separation, extended the lead, got up big. And I think it was good for this team coming off of two losses in their last 3 games. Good in the sense that this wasn't a close game. And yeah, you would have liked to have had this huge lead in the first half, but look, that's not what this team is right now. And I thought it was good that there wasn't any questions of who was the better team. And in this game, Miami had 385 total yards of offense. You would like that number to be over 400, well over 400 in this one against a struggling team. And Syracuse only had 285 of offense there, so the defense did a good job. Only allowed that late touchdown with some reserves in the game. But not only I think it was good for this team to get this win with a big margin, but some fun plays in this game. And with the team that, again, coming up short, and really we'll see what it looks like at the end of this season if Miami does happen to go on a strong run here at the end, what it means for either the ACC championship game, which is highly unlikely, also a college football playoff berth, looking unlikely at this moment in time. But I thought it was good that they had these fun plays. The Carson Beck catching a touchdown pass, 14-yard pass from Malachi Toney. Carson was pretty fired up about that one, but even more fired up was the play that he threw at the end of the game to Francis Maui-Noa. This is the touchdown that they've been drawing up for a long time. Francis actually revealed that they've been talking about it with him scoring a touchdown since he was being recruited. And they finally came through. Mario kind of half joked about it, just saying now that he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. But Francis said they've worked on this play over 50 times. And everybody was excited for Francis to get that. Beck threw him the backwards pass, which counts as a rushing touchdown. Everybody was excited. And I think plays like this are important in a season, especially late in the year, in a game like this, against an opponent like this, and especially coming off these losses. So what will it mean moving forward? We'll see. But just today, I thought these were some good positive moments, maybe some feel-good type things going on. And there were some other things that stood out to me in this game as well. Okay, look, it certainly took a little bit for the passing game to get going. Carson Beck through his first 12 attempts, averaging under 4 yards an attempt. That's not where you want to be at all. And then that Keelan Marion 25-yard catch, followed by a Dalen Upshaw 41-yard catch, kind of got the passing game going. So that was good to see as Miami goes in for a touchdown with Beck there after coming up empty on their first 4 drives. I thought that was good to see the passing offense, get going there. In the third quarter, too, Keelan catches a 61-yard touchdown pass. That was great to see. Those are big moments. Those are fun plays, especially for an offense that had been struggling lately and just not having a lot of those kinds of plays. So big plays, trick plays, it was all happening for the Hurricanes today. And I thought that was good. Like I said, the passing game, 10 different guys, including Carson, caught one of the 19 receptions in this game. That's good too. Multiple guys involved, multiple guys essentially feeling good and confident going into the next game against NC State here for the home finale next week. Also too, I want to mention Carson Beck, 247 passing yards, puts him over 10,000 for his career. It's a great mark for a guy that's had a long career, and certainly he wants to build on it. But he said too, look, they're trying to win games, and he's excited about that number. Certainly you would understand why, but just the continued push to try to win games here at the end of the year, and essentially seeing what happens. So I thought the passing game was fine. There were some drops. JoJo had definitely a bad drop in there. Malachi Toney not as active as he's been. Teams are going to, this is what I expect down the stretch, certainly. Teams are going to do their best to hold him from having a big game, especially CJ Daniels out, missing another game here. So guys have to step up. JoJo, as I mentioned, has to be consistent, especially with these games. These are high-level games Miami's playing. Now, from a running back perspective, Mark Fletcher was out, missed his first game here. And I thought it was really disappointing for me that Marty Brown didn't have an impact game. Jordan Lyle, we've been waiting all season for him to have one of these important games, one of these quality games, and it just didn't happen. And I think these guys really needed to have a good game in this one to really help solidify the running game, not just when Fletcher comes back, but just in general. I think these guys have to continue to make plays because, look, they want to rely on the running game. That's their philosophy. I would be surprised if Miami just scratches what they believe in all season long at this point in the season. So I think it's going to be more of the same. And running backs have to make plays. Look, the offensive line, wherever the holes are, whatever the play call is, the offensive line is good enough to create enough separation for a running back. To me, it's up to these backs, Marty and Jordan in particular. Mark, when he gets back, these guys have to make plays when they're in there. They have to make guys miss. They have to, hit the right holes or find out what the best opportunity for a big gain is. I think a lot of responsibility does rely on or goes to these running backs. So with that being said, third quarter finally comes up and freshman Gerard Pringle Jr. gets his opportunity. First carry, 11 yards. Great to see. Follows that up with a 19-yard touchdown. I thought that was great. And I thought his performance today as he led the team in rushing, 55 yards, 7 carries, I thought it was one of these things where, hey, maybe this is a guy that they've got to get in there. Maybe it is time to quit waiting on Jordan. Or if Marty, he's a different type of back, they want to get a more speed element in, get Pringle in there. We'll see what happens because these are crucial games and you need more from the running game. And I think Pringle, with what we saw tonight, and I asked Mario about what he saw in Gerard, and of course he mentioned his quick feet, good to make plays, but something that stood out to me was he thought he did good, and he said, I'm going to have to go back on the film, but he thought he did good in his pass protection opportunities. And that's certainly key for a running back to get more opportunities to be in the game because backs can't just be in there to run the ball. Everyone knows they're going to get the carries if they're in there. The opposing defenses would know that. So you've got to be in there in some passing situations, and you can't be a liability. Everybody knows that. That's a big part about being a running back and earning the trust of more playing time. So we'll see if Pringle can get more playing time. But this is what you're looking for from one of these guys that kind of down the depth chart kind of a guy to maybe earn some more playing time. When you get your opportunity, make a play, make plays, and Pringle, I thought, did that. So that was good to see. Another huge play in the game, I didn't even mention it till now, but was this 38-yard interception return for a touchdown by Keontae Scott there in the second quarter to get Miami that 14-0 lead. Keontae's been great this year. He's really excelled in Corey Heatherman's defense. He's been one of their top defensive players, and arguably, look, Ruben Bain's been their best defensive player, but I think Keontae you might say he could be their second best defensive player. And I know Mesidor's been good too, but it's just the value that Keontae's bringing there at that nickel spot, his ability to tackle, ability to cover guys in space, and I think he's just done a really good job, and then making big plays too. I thought that was huge, and he just continues to make plays week in and week out. You really want to be able to rely on a guy like that at that position because of the things that he's asked to do from covering guys and also tackling. And I think just he's such a big key to this defense, and he's really important, and another huge play by him. And one of the guys he's closest with on the team, safety Jacoby Thomas, also had a huge pick there. The ball kind of came into his hands. He didn't really realize it till his teammates told him to run an interception. He also recovered the fumble forced by Mesidor earlier. 5 tackles. He's a guy very active and doing a really good job there at that safety spot. So defense just has to continue to make plays and really kind of lead this team. I know this looks different from a fan's perspective of what this team is compared to what they were a year ago. In a way, in some sorts, it's just flipped, in terms of where this team is defensively, where they were ranked last year defensively, and then offensively last year to defense now. It's just kind of a little bit flipped. That's kind of the identity of this team. You want the offense to continue to improve. You're hoping Carson's leadership and the veterans on the offensive line are able to do that. So we'll see. I think there's potential for this offense to kind of make plays. And really, at this point, it's only about scoring more than your opponent. You've got to win these games, and I understand everybody's going to be worried about, the style points because of trying to impress the College Football Playoff Committee. But I think what's going to need to happen is Miami needs to close the gap with where they are in the ACC standings. Even if they don't get to Charlotte, they've got to be much closer to the top of the standings than middle of the pack with a lot of teams in front of them as I stand here today, right now, which is the case. You know, there are teams in front of them with less losses than them. So they've got to kind of close that gap, continue to win. Everyone knows you can't afford to lose at this stage of the season to have any hopes of getting a berth. So we'll see how it plays out, but good day today overall. Let me know what you thought today. I know there were probably some ups and downs, some positives, negatives. Drop in the comments below. Let me know what you think. But I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in, especially right now at the end of the video. Shout out to everybody there, and hopefully have a good rest of the day, and take care.